Green, how are you? Good.
I said I wanted to make sure I heard something first. I don't want to get y'all stuff away without hearing y'all tell me
Nice. Oh, that's good.
that. Name dropping.
What's up, bro?
What is going on?
They said these new computers. That's what the dude said when he came.
Yeah, but I mean, James Green, SHREVOER.gov. That's what's going on. Sure. I don't know what's. No. This is never.
What's up, man? All right. Yes, sir.
I'm missing. Oh.
Take care.
Okay. Good to go.
Good. Oh yeah, it was long. They don't start on time. Oh, I wasn't hungry, but they was just. It's like it's like it was. It wasn't. I didn't. It wasn't like what I expected.
Don't say
Yeah, it wasn't organized. Absolutely. I just expected. I just expected more. Yeah, it wasn't. Hey, what's going on? Well, we have.
I said I was going to pass you a sticky note.
Good morning. How are y'all? Good. 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 No, I want to come to y'all. Okay. me in. Get me in.
I have to, I work on it.
Madam Clerk, you ready? Tanya, you ready? Good afternoon, everyone. The Shreveport City Council meeting is now called to order. The council chair will give the invocation, and I'll ask Councilman Talaferro to lead us in the pledge. Everyone is standing, and bow your heads. Merciful Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for the gift of life more abundantly. Right now, I ask that you would come into this chamber and allow us to do the city's business. I ask that you lead us and guide us with wisdom and discernment. Pray for all of those who have lost loved ones over this past week. I ask that you continue to lift them and hold their families closer. Pray for all of our city employees and our first responders. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All face the flag of the greatest country on earth, and as we say our pledge, let us be mindful and appreciative of the sacrifices of our MIAs and POWs. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Taylor.
Present.
Councilman Brooks. Councilman Talaferro.
Here, ma'am.
Councilman Butcher.
Here.
Councilman Jackson.
Here.
Councilman Green.
I'm here.
And Councilwoman Bowman.
Present.
Tomorrow, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the administrative conference meeting Monday, March 9, 2026, and the city council meeting Tuesday, March 10, 2026. Does any council member have any awards, recognition, or distinguished guests not to exceed 15 minutes? Madam Vice Chair.
Can I get the Empire Twins to come up today? The Queens? Good afternoon. I asked you to be in attendance today. You did miss the women's celebration 2 weeks ago, but it's still Women's Month, and I want to say Happy National Women's Day. And I really want to just let you ladies know how I appreciate you in the Queensboro area. I'm looking forward to working with you with your new homeowners association. Queensboro used to have a really robust Queensboro association. So I'm looking forward to see it get back to the business it used to be in. So I'm gonna give you the opportunity to speak, and then we're gonna present something to you, and I'll let any other council members speak. But I really thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Bowman, for that. And I'm Cammie, and I'm pleased to be here.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Tammy T. Wright, the twin of Cammie. I'm very excited to be a part of the Q&A, the Queensboro Neighborhood Association. We're going to do some amazing things in the city of Shreveport, and we're excited. And thank you so much for the opportunity.
Okay. Any other council members?
Madam Chair.
Councilman Green.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thank y'all for all the work that you all do in the community. And also, I'd like to thank you all for last year, you all blessed Union Mission by being in charge of our first annual God's Country Festival. It was a great job, and people are like, are we coming back? And I just really thank you for all the work that you.
You're
And
welcome.
anytime that y'all want to come to District F, just feel free. You don't have to call me.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Councilman Jackson.
Just want to say thank you as well. Congratulations to you guys. Thanks for reaching out. Thanks for all that you're doing for the community, and just keep it up. We need you.
Thank you. We need you all.
I have pictures.
Oh, my God.
Yes, I do. Thank you for your commitment to the city of Shreveport. You all cover every neighborhood in this city, and your heart is priceless. So I thank you for being you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You have something?
I love the musical.
Oh.
We love that. You can stick around and say that anytime.
Oh, okay.
It's a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna ask all of my colleagues to come down along with the mayor so we can get a great picture with y'all. Thank you.
bar. That bar ahead of us.
You're welcome.
Time to Thank you.
Ran into you.
Does any other council member have any awards, recognition, or distinguished guests not to exceed 15 minutes? Mayor Arsenault, do you have any awards, recognition, or distinguished guests not to exceed 15 minutes?
I do not.
Okay. Mayor Arsenault, do you have any communications of the mayor relative to city business?
Yes, we have the monthly police report.
Okay.
Chief Smith and Corporal Bordelon.
Yeah, the door is broken, by the way. The garage door wouldn't open. Yeah, I was real close. It finally opened, but it took about a minute or so.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. We have our normal monthly report, beginning with the first slide here. Talking about our felony crimes that are reported. 6 crimes reported, appears to be down 13%. Vehicle thefts are down 2%. Armed robberies showed a slight increase, up 1.4%. Burglaries were down 14%. Vehicle burglaries down 29%. These are our shootings for the year. As you can see, 23 reported for this period in 2026, 55 for last year for the same time period. So down very significantly, over 50%, the shootings are down. And as you can see across the spectrum, for quite a few years, we've been experiencing a decline in our reported shootings. Next slide you see is the homicides. To date, we have 4 homicides logged in on the book here in Shreveport. Last year, for the same time period, we had 10 reported on the book, for about a 60% decline in our homicide rate. Vehicle crashes, this is one that sort of stays high on the radar. And as I've said time and time again, it seemed like your chances are better that you would get hurt in an automobile crash than any other thing, or the other way. And as you can see, for 2026, 2,154, slightly down, but not significant from 2025, where we had 2,183 for the same time period. Next is the shocker. These are the crashes that involve fatalities, with the most recent one happening this past weekend on I-20. 2026, we have 7 that are logged on the book. And for 2025, we had 8. In 2024, there was 8. So the fatality crashes are staying pretty consistent. We had some graduates. We had our basic SWAT school this past week. How many graduated?
7.
We had 7 that successfully passed that and will become, members of our elite special response team. That concludes, and I'm open for any questions.
On your last presentation, you listed domestic violence stats. I don't see those on here.
I didn't have a slide in here in reference to that. I did last time, but I'll be more than happy to get you that information.
Did our numbers shift up or did they remain the same?
Pretty close to about the same. It continues to be an issue in our area and across our community. And you know, when I say domestic violence, some people think that that is just a blood relationship,
Right.
but that certainly is not the case. It's any kind of relationship whatsoever, friendships, kinships.
Right.
It just goes on and on and on. And, you know, I really feel so bad for victims and the suspects of domestic violence because it trickles down sometime in the family to the kids that are really, really innocent parties.
So I believe it was probably last week, Officer Bordelon, that I think I saw where you had 4 arrests for domestic violence. What are we looking at this week?
Over the weekend, we had an additional, I believe, 6 involving domestic violence, and as of, I believe, Sunday. Over the weekend, I believe it was an additional 6 arrested in domestic violence-related incidents, and as of Sunday, we were approaching 600 calls for service involving domestic violence.
Okay.
Just in 2026.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Councilman Telefair.
Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Chief.
Hello, sir.
What kind of PR do we do to encourage our citizens to report any crime? As we know, if it doesn't get reported, it really didn't happen. And although, you know, we know that from taking reports in the field, my lawnmower was stolen, my bicycle was stolen. If the officer on the beat doesn't know that the bicycle or the lawnmower was stolen, she's thinking that this area is pretty safe,
Sure.
you know, of crime. And so I'm asking, not just because I see sex crimes reported, vehicle theft reported, you know, and we understand that there are many that don't get reported.
Absolutely.
And so I just want to know what PR stuff that we're doing, whether it's TV, radio, whatever it is, to encourage people to report any crime, as well as we're encouraging people to report any suspicious activity.
We have not done anything, but that is certainly something that we would love to entertain some conversation about, some more PR, as you said, press releases, more TV ads and things that let people know that there is help available and encourage them to report all crimes to us and allow us the opportunity to investigate them.
Well, and I will
Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I will strongly encourage you to utilize whomever is doing Crime Stoppers now, because they pretty much, unless there's a reward,
Yes.
they have dropped off the face of the earth.
Okay.
So in other words, it's within their scope to utilize their money to go out and do preventative PR, you know, to encourage people to, report crime. So I encourage you to kind of
Thank you.
engage them
We
and let
will.
them spend their money on doing that kind of stuff that they're supposed to be doing.
Certainly will. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Councilman Butcher.
we're talking about traffic. Do we still have the, those radar trailers?
Yes, sir. We've got 3, I believe, that are functional, 2 or 3, and a couple that's non-functional.
I sent some videos to y'all last weekend about racing up and down North Ferry Road. Did, I
Yes,
think Chief Monet got that?
Yes.
Have y'all done anything out there for that?
I'm not sure. He hadn't mentioned it to me, but if he's got it, I'm pretty sure he's put some action. The chief on that, on North Ferry Road, did you get some response out there? Okay, it's been sent to traffic for some radar.
I think I got some reports this weekend again, and I mean, they sent me videos of it, and and I hear it myself, but I thought it was on the interstate or Southern Loop, but it's actually on Norris Ferry Road. But a lady that lives in the 9600 block of Norris Ferry has been sending me videos of it. So if it's usually on Saturday nights.
Okay, send me that video. Let me have a look at it. We'll get somebody out there. Happy to.
Okay.
I would North Ferry. Isn't that pretty much a 2-lane?
It is. It's very dangerous, and they were passing each other on a bridge in that video.
Yes.
So
Okay, we'll get some enforcement out there.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Madam Chair, one more.
Yes.
Chief, just for clarification, do we separate single vehicle fatalities?
No, it's a fatality, period.
Just a
We-
fatality, doesn't matter if it's a
Right.
single person rollover or anything like that?
That's right, roll over
Okay, so
a,
a crash is a crash. fatality.
pedestrian, it all goes in the category of fatality.
Perfect, thank you. Madam Chair, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Anyone else? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, ma'am.
Does any member have any questions or concerns relative to property standards for Mr. Green? I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, will you finish? I'm sorry. I don't have any more. Okay, thank you. I think I gave you mine, 2937, Travis.
She should have already reached out to him. so-
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, thanks.
We still got those tents out there.
Right. Wednesday at 11:30.
Okay.
Mr. Jean, do you have a master plan committee report?
As you know, I sent all of you a copy of links where you can find the master plan posted on our website, and I want to say it for the public. So it's www.shreveportcaddo.com. And if you look on there, there's a section that you can look up documents, and there's a tab that actually says the master plan. So the entirety of the master plan, all of the chapters, you can either look at it all at once, or you can look at it chapter by chapter. So I encourage the public to do that. We also have taken, I sent you a link to a map. And last month, we had it presented publicly at the MPC meeting. We have a new interactive map. The interactive map also includes the new future land use map that was approved as a part of the master plan. So those tools are out there. You can also, if you're a realtor and if you deal with real estate in any manner, and you want to make a map, you can actually make an official map that has logo on it. That it lists you as the author. You can make your own customized maps. You can delete layers, add layers. It's pretty dynamic.
I've actually used part of it already, so
Good.
It's nice. Yeah.
And I would, if you would like, I could have that presented here at its body and show the public how it works. We'd be glad to do that in a future meeting.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Everyone should have received the budget to actual financial report yesterday. Public hearing, there is none. Mr. Dark, will there be any legislation to be added today?
No, Madam Chair.
Today, we'll hear public comments on non-agenda and agenda items. Madam Vice Chair will handle this part of the agenda.
Matthew Alexander.
My name is Matt Alexander. I live on 178 Carrollton Avenue. On Saturday, March 28th, 2026 at 1 p.m., hundreds of demonstrators, myself included, will gather downtown at the courthouse to protest the failed policies and undemocratic actions of a federal administration that is currently engaged in the politics of authoritarianism. We will also be demonstrating against the failed policies and undemocratic actions in this city's administration. The City Council, under the misguidance of Mayor Arsenault, on December 18, 2025, voted to approve the construction of a data center in West Shreveport. The data center proposal was unanimously unpopular to residents of these West Shreveport neighborhoods, but the City Council voted unanimously to disregard the working-class populations of these districts by approving the data center proposal, which included tax breaks for a company owned by the world's fourth richest man. There are entire neighborhoods in Shreveport that are littered with vacated, dilapidated houses, and this city council voted to give tax exemptions to the world's fourth richest man. The city council pushed a narrative of short-term job creation for the construction sector while there are decades worth of work to be done repairing and rebuilding entire neighborhoods across this city now. Work that could boost property tax revenues, water and sewer revenues, and dramatically increase housing opportunities in a city that is currently experiencing a deficit of 25,000 affordable housing units. City leaders want residents to be amazed by the unverifiable investment amount that Amazon is advertising between its 3 proposed facilities across Caddo and Bossier parishes. Yet there has been no strategic plan put forth by the city as to how any direct payments to the city would be spent or reinvested, the projected dollar amount of direct payments to the city, or any guarantee that direct payments would even occur at all after the cost of construction is factored into this investment total. The mayor and city council could have made housing a priority in the last 4 years and created pathways for affordable housing by making structural changes to the blighted property program and approving tax exemptions for residents wanting to buy and repair vacant homes so that they could be homeowners and not at-risk renters. Instead, the city council voted to approve tax exemptions for the world's 4th richest man. Your neighborhood cleanup days were well publicized and well photographed, yet these events really show your true motives. You were there to pose for the cameras, you're there to pass out plate lunches and manipulate people's hunger into votes. You were there to invite people to community meetings that you don't attend. You were there to bend over backwards to the world's 4th richest man and give him all that he desires. All this while people living here suffer through the issues of the city that you could fix if you were compelled by the humanity and empathy that you clearly lack. Democracy in its truest form is a political system based on consensus, equality, and broad participation. You deny democracy to residents living near this proposed site. The working class of the city would like to return to favor by ending your political careers.
Thank you. Ms. Debbie Martin?
Debbie Martin, 1500 North Market Street. I'm losing my voice. So if it's okay, Bruce Roberts will come up and say what I'm going to say. Is that okay?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm not sure he knew that.
That's fine. Thank you. We're just very happy to see the substation out in North Shreveport.
Mr. Roberts, can I have your name and address for the record,
Yes,
please?
ma'am. Bruce Roberts, 1500 North Market.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. We're just very happy to have that substation out there. It's really making an impact, I think, in the neighborhood out there. We're very happy about the domestic violence part of that opening up because I believe that's going to end up being something that will happen all over the state. We've gotten calls from different people about what's happening there. The other good thing I can tell you is that it's not going to cost anything from the city to operate the domestic violence thing. We've made sure of that. So we'll be able to put that in, see how it goes, and hopefully there'll be others that'll open up around the city to serve the individuals in domestic violence. Any questions? No. Thank you.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair. Okay, so I received a call from Ms. Martin today, and I just want clarification. What Ms. Martin shared with me, and I'm sorry that you are not able to speak, is that I think what we're voting on tomorrow, funding for domestic violence, is this the same thing or is this something different?
I'm not sure what you're voting on tomorrow. I've read that. I didn't know where it went or what it was for.
Okay.
But right now, the domestic violence portion of that North Shreveport substation, that is going to be handled without funds from the city through another organization.
Okay.
And our business association has, we've put money forth for equipment and stuff for that facility also, as well as the clerk of court who's brought some computers in and things, so.
Okay, so to my understanding, we're voting on funding to support domestic violence, even hire a director. And I just wanted to make sure we're not duplicating efforts or using taxpayer dollars to fund something that you guys have already agreed to pay for. So I just need clarification on that.
As I said, I didn't know what the funding was for on that, nor did I know you were going to hire a director. So it seems to me that what we're trying to get is the Domestic Violence Center open to see how it's going to run. We've got a good organization that's involved in that and can put the people in place for that. And I hope that we can branch out into other places in the city. It'd be nice if you had them in all the substations, but and the other thing, too, that always bothered me about this was simply that there are so many organizations in our area to help different groups of people, not only in the domestic violence area. But one of the problems that I saw was that you didn't know who they were or how to get in touch with them. And in my case, I've seen police officers holding somebody on my property there at the Roberts Center because they didn't know where to take her. She had escaped from one of those apartments around there and had run down to my office building. So they spent an hour or so trying to find the services in the area. It's my hope that this domestic violence center there will help in getting all of that information put together so we can get it out to the police officers, as well as the training at the academy and other things. I've met with the sheriff, and he's interested in domestic violence and is putting a program together for that. And we finally got, I think, what's the district attorney, the sheriff, the city of Shreveport, and the clerk of court all kind of on the same page to get this issue addressed. And as you can see, it's climbing quite quickly.
And where will your program be operating out of?
Pardon me?
Where will your program be operating out of?
It will be operating out of that substation.
And Chief, can you come up, please?
I'll try to squeak it out. When we began this endeavor, it was to move the Family Justice Center in and have them do the intake. It's not a full center. It never was intended to be a full center, but it's progressed into helping with the protective orders. And we never asked for funding. We do not require funding today from the city. It's taken care of. So that, if that's what you're voting on, that's not what we're asking for because it's taken care of.
But you're going to be operating out of the substation?
Yes, they have 2 rooms in the substation. That was part of the deal. So those rooms will be taken up with people that will work there to do intake, but all the other services are picked up by different agencies. So it's not something that would require a director or $125,000 salary or anything like that. That's done. Never was a request of ours.
Well, Chief or Mr. Mayor, does anybody know about this? Like, is this something approved? Is something in writing?
We have not made any decision about what is to go in there, if anything. Okay. They have offered to do some things, and we're looking at alternatives.
Okay, but that will be your decision and not council's decision?
It depends on what form it takes, and I don't know the answer to that because I don't know what form it will take.
The resolution, when it was written, it has to come, any changes have to come before the Shreveport City Council. And not at one time when this was announced that anything was said to the Shreveport City Council. Nothing. If you're going to have a domestic violence center, that domestic violence center needs to be equipped with everything that it needs in order to operate. And that's a fact. Louisiana has led the state of one of the top 5 since 1997. It's not funny because that's what it is. And women and children that are affected by domestic violence, including men. And so when you look at that, it is not a facility where you go. When Chief Wayne gave his speech, it's not something that you can just arbitrarily just do, that could just fall in the hands of anyone. You would have to be duly trained in that area in order to properly affect those men, women, and children. And yes, men are affected by domestic violence. And not to mention those that have disabilities, which are affected 70% of the time. And if you're a woman, it is 3 times that you are sexually assaulted if you have a disability. Those are the things that we're looking at. Those are the things that we see in our community. And so at this particular point, we have almost 30% of our crimes that are fatal, that are domestic violence that we're looking at. If we see the 600 calls that we've had, are we equipped to handle that? Or when they walk into the substation, are they just going to be able to get a brochure and then gone on by their way? You're going to have somebody to overlook that. That $125,000 is not for one person. It is literally for a multitude of people that will be trained by the district attorney's office in order to do what needs to be done. That is why they asked us to wait and to come through the council so we will make sure that we will have those that are properly trained in that area in this life and death situation that is here. That's what's most important. Now going up to the substation and then hoping that somebody is there to assist them, because you do not want to send a woman, a child, or anyone of that magnitude out with a brochure and say, here, go call this person right here. When we wrote the resolution, it had all of that criteria to be a family justice center. What happened to the Family Justice Center, which means that you would have a counselor, that you would have trauma counseling, that you would have all of those provisions made in order to be able to do that. And nobody said anything to me as the councilwoman who represents that district. I heard it on television.
Want to say something?
I think what you're saying is it would be wonderful, and we'd love to see that. But I think it would take a building the size of the substation to have all of those things in one place.
When the resolution was written, there was an agreement with the Family Justice Center. What happened with that?
Well, the situation is we have 2 rooms out there that have been set aside for domestic violence, okay? That's a start, okay? The rest of it is the police substation. I think that what we're looking at is getting individuals in there that are qualified for handling domestic violence and having them be able to work out of those 2 rooms. Not everything can come out of those 2 rooms because there isn't room for that, but it's a start and it needs to start somewhere. Please understand that this vision was started years ago about getting a domestic violence center somewhere in the city of Shreveport.
Was that after the YWCA failed?
No.
Okay.
No.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes, ma'am.
do understand this, that nobody is going in and actually saying that your steps that you want to take are not pertinent. But we're dealing with women that are dying in this city. If you heard the stats just from last week when we arrested 4, next we did 6. Any of those individuals go on to North Market to say anything because it's not equipped at this time with this tragedy that we're facing. We cannot afford to just wait. And that's what we're looking at. You are saying, wait, we don't know what is going to be established there. But I would suggest that y'all go back and read the resolution, because the resolution for domestic violence said this, and that's why it was not equipped. That's why I was asked of the mayor not to please read this part until we're ready. You have to be ready for this. This can happen at any time. With the stats that we have, there's 35% of African-American women are affected by domestic violence. Not only that, they're the most killed in a homicide. We've seen it. I've seen it in my district where a whole family is wiped out. And it may not be so important to you, but it is very, very passionate for me. And it's not something that I look around and play with. I'm not looking at a facility that is not well equipped with what is needed in order to save somebody's life. This is life or death, period.
I understand that. And we would not want to see it open until it had the proper people in place. That's why we're working very hard with a group that has those qualifications to get in there and do that. I think that what we're here today is just to say the $125,000 needs to be set aside, and let us get this opened up and then take a hard look at how it does, okay? But we want to be able to address the situation with domestic violence. As it stands right now, it's 2 empty rooms there. It's not helping anybody.
It's 2 empty rooms that does not have resources.
And Mr. Roberts, my concern, and thank you, Madam Chair, for sharing that information. My concern is that I was under the impression that we have approved you guys to be in those empty rooms. You know, me just asking the mayor, that has not been finalized or final approval. So, you know, I would agree with Madam Chair, we need help right now. You know, we don't know if and when you will be approved and what resources those look like in the future. But we have to make a decision on how can we give help to people who need help today. I'm not sure where you need to start. Again, Mr. Mayor, I don't know if that's going to be your decision. I don't know if that's going to be Madam Chair's decision because it's our district, but you guys need approval to operate. You know, we need to understand what your program is going to look like, what resources you have coming in, what the final product is going to look like, and where you're going to be housed. But today, we got to make a decision on who's able to help people today in the case of emergencies, and we have an emergency happening right now.
Well, understand when this was initially started, we were in hopes of the Family Justice Center over in Bossier. We were not notified until just shortly before the opening of the building that they didn't have the funding to man that. So we've been looking around, finding an organization that can handle this. There is an organization that has people on staff. They handle this type of issue. And that's what we've been looking at. We've wanted to get with the mayor. We haven't been able to get with him yet. I believe Debbie spoke with you. But it's just a situation that I'm here. I don't want to turn down money, but you know, if you want to throw $125,000 at it, that's fine. But the situation is, I think that by April 1st, we will have people in place that can handle domestic violence. It's not my program. I'm not in the domestic violence program, okay? I'm a businessman on North Market that saw an issue that needed to be addressed, just like Mr. Councilman Taylor. But we're just trying to get it open to address the situation. There needs to be one all over this city. Not just in North Market.
Nobody argues that point.
Yeah.
But if the mayor has said all of these things right here have not been worked out, then how can we move forward? And I'm still say this. You all have not said anything to the council. Nothing. And again, when we made this agreement regarding this substation, there is a resolution. If Mr. Attorney Edwards, if you need to pull it up, of what it is that we have outlined for this. It is a critical matter. Not only put the ones that are affected by domestic violence at risk, but our police officers as well. It is one of the most dangerous situations that they can be in at this particular point. Because again, when you send a mother or a child, when you're talking about domestic violence or sexual assault, and it is nowhere else for them to go, and who is the program person that's going to sit there? If you haven't talked to the mayor, then how is it going to open April 1st?
I am so glad that this issue has been elevated to this point. Everyone seems to be on board.
Madam
Okay.
Chair, I have just a couple of questions. So the ordinance or the resolution, when we passed it for the substation, said there will be a family justice center in there. What happened? They don't have the money. I talked to Skylar, so I mean I know his side of it, but I don't know your side of it.
They don't have the money to fund people over there. Okay. They can handle it from Bossier, but that's not the intent.
So we got to this point. It's about to open. We think the Family Justice Center is. I'm just talking through this where everybody knows. So we think the Family Justice Center is going in there, out of the blue, y'all have a meeting with the police chief, y'all and Skylar. Skylar says, we can't get it open. Is that kind of what happened?
I believe Skylar had a meeting with the police chief.
Okay. So after that happened, then we heard on the news, the council did, that we were moving forward with another domestic violence center. So we, myself, Councilwoman Taylor, met with the police chief and said, hey, what do you need as the police chief? I mean, we were sitting on the 4th floor up here. I said, I think that North Shreveport being involved is great. There's all kinds of things, and I've had meetings with the sheriff, I've had meetings with the DA. There are all kinds of things that fundraising can do, like help the Bar Association with writing protective orders, help all these different things go on. And I think we can walk and chew gum at the same time and have something in the North Shreveport substation similar to what you're saying. But what we decided after talking to the chief was, why don't we just fund, and it's not for one person, the narrative going around that we're hiring $125,000, that's not it. The way it was set up is somebody making $50,000, $60,000, and the rest of the money would go into the program to have people that would be on call 24 hours a day. And I explained this 2 Mondays ago. I spent about 10 minutes talking about it because I think Councilman Brooks was pointing at his watch, ready to go. But I did spend about 10 minutes talking about this, where we got here, because Ms. Glover asked the question. So we left that meeting, and we're going to have another meeting with the police chief and the DA. And then we were going to bring y'all into it because we wanted your input. The police chief called us and said, we can't meet. So the meeting that was the morning of the meeting. So he was not there. So we already had the meeting set up for the sheriff and the DA. And it was just us, because we were trying to see where everybody was with everything.
You just said y'all.
No, y'all is what we wanted to meet with y'all after this. We were in the preliminary stages of figuring out where we were with everything. So we bring in and we have a conversation with the DA and the sheriff. And during that conversation, the sheriff said, or his staff said, we are working on a plan right now. We have it lined out. Let us get you that plan and take a look at it. So we did. And he has offered to meet with everybody and show them the plan. Plan is very comprehensive. I think the mayor, I talked to the sheriff today, the mayor's had some conversations about it. It's going to be something that we've never seen in Caddo Parish. But that doesn't leave y'all out of the mix. I think that it's critical to have what y'all are doing. But my theory is we had YWCA, and now who are y'all? I mean, that would be nice if we knew who y'all were talking to as well.
Well, the Project Celebration.
Okay, that's going to be a no-go for me. Miss Howard, is Miss Howard here?
I don't believe so. I don't see her.
No.
Okay. There are some major issues. They've not done an audit in 2 years. And I didn't want to get into this in a public meeting to embarrass them, because I thought that we would be able to save this. I told the mayor this when I met with him 2 weeks ago about this, that this would not be something that we would be able to do. There's some issues with the building they bought on Centenary that's not complete, but they borrowed close to $1 million on it. So we have some real issues with Project Celebration. So that's why, but we were trying to circumvent this from happening. But I get a call from the sheriff today, or I called the sheriff today, and he told me he doesn't want the political blowback, that he really doesn't want our money.
I know.
Well, he does. I mean, we had a plan in place, but he does. But I'm not going to do anything to politically hurt the sheriff, because he's the only one that's got a plan. He sat down and showed me a plan and showed me a budget. And I think that y'all are definitely in the mix of that. But what we're trying to do as council members is make sure that we bridge this gap that we've got going on right now, because Councilwoman Taylor had an incident called Project Celebration. Nobody showed up.
Yep, it happened, because we had to go over and utilize SPD, and Chris Borderland can vouch for that.
So if your daughter, I've got 2 daughters. If your daughter was assaulted by her husband, she's transported to the hospital. A detective walks in. This is what happens right now. A detective walks in right now, takes the information. Here's a pamphlet for domestic violence. Here's this. We'll be back in touch with you. Where do you think that that woman's going to go. She's going to go straight back home, and then the husband's going to blow everybody's brains out. We need somebody, and what the plan was, and this was never to leave North Shreveport out of it. This was just trying to get the facts without embarrassing people. That's all it was. If the facts are, we wanted somebody to follow this through. We wanted somebody to hold that victim's hand from the time it started and not just say, okay, here's a pamphlet. We wanted somebody to say, okay, look, there's North Shreveport Business Association. They have safe houses that they funded. We're going to give you their number to call, which might be that person that's in the North Shreveport substation. But we don't have that now. These people have, I have paid in Webster Parish, myself and my wife was a sex crimes detective. I have paid for hotel rooms for victims because we couldn't get a place for them to go. My passion does not come from my wife. My passion comes from, have you ever heard of Chris Barney? Do you know her? Her husband, her ex-husband, the one that shot and murdered her 2-year-old child or 18-month-old child in the parking lot of the old Riverside Hospital, worked with me at the fire department. And I went to high school with her, and I watched that whole deal go down. That's where my passion for domestic violence comes from. It's not from something that Heather has her own set of passions. But I've heard all kinds of things. Well, this is Grayson trying to get a job for Heather. And it's all just a bunch of bunk. That's not the truth. What we're trying to do is, give this, and this is coming out of the speed cameras, which I hate. So, I mean, this is something I felt like was a good investment. Mm-hmm. And we would love SPD to take it. But I don't think they have the resources or the manpower to do it. And the sheriff already has a plan. So I just think that it's almost like we're just shooting ourselves in the foot whenever we really have a major issue with domestic violence in this city. And I applaud y'all for trying to get this together. I do. But there's some no stops for me. And I told the mayor in our meeting we had 2 weeks ago that I hope Project Celebration can turn it around. But at this point, I just can't give Project Celebration any more money. And we funded them. We fund Gingerbread House. We fund Project Celebration. We give them money. But instead of us throwing money towards bad stuff, and now all this narrative about, well, you're hiring $125,000 one person to work, that's not true. That's not true. And I said that at the meeting on Monday 2 weeks ago.
And
That's
what
just,
is
it's
wrong
not
with
true.
going in and hiring those people while in the interim, working on the substation and getting it where it needs to be so it will be ready to receive those individuals coming in? That was the other point of going in and making sure that we work with somebody who is ready while working on the substation, because it's the city's substation. It belongs to the citizens.
I understand.
And at that point, Mr. Roberts.
You're right on track.
Yes.
But that's why we're looking at Project Celebration.
But it has issues with the city.
Well, it has issues. I don't know very much about those, but they have the organization, they have the staff, they have the state contract, they have 5 people on.
Mr. Roberts, we are not sending anybody anywhere if the phone is not answered. We sat on a call. Yes, we did. We sat on a call that we had to have Shreveport Police and the district attorney intervene and then try to find somebody to answer that call for a lady who was 6 months pregnant with a small child.
I understand, and I'm just
I
using.
really don't think you understand.
I am using them as an example of what you need. Putting an individual in there that is just going to sit at a desk and take telephone calls is not what you want. The training that you need.
That is why we met with the district attorney's office.
Yeah.
And those individuals were going through training, because we would not put anybody in there that is not trained to do this. When you have to get a protective order, when you have to have legal representation to go to court, when you have to have somebody to stand by their side and hold their hand. Those are real issues to me. My best friend who is deceased, Patrina Gay, took us through every process of training with his direction. That is why the bus stop right there in her honor was right down where the Family Justice Center is supposed to be. Councilman Green.
So as I look at this, one is that we are politicizing a person's life. This ain't about black, this ain't about white, this ain't about politics. This is not about giving somebody some credit to say we done this or we done that. If you sick, would you go to a doctor or would you go to somebody that's going to medical school? When we brought up Councilwoman Taylor and Councilman Butcher, they've been working on this, I think along with Councilman Telefaro. Then we get the sheriff to say, hey, I'll take it. And it was like, when the sheriff said he was taking it was like the sheriff is committing a crime. The sheriff said, I got this already, we can do this, we can do that. Why are we getting the sheriff? He's in Caddo Parish, Shreveport is in Caddo Parish. It's like it belongs here. He's the sheriff. He got a program ready to go. And whereas we were gonna use somebody from Bossier, okay, but we got somebody in Caddo Parish, the sheriff, Henry Whitehorn, that has proven what he said he was due as sheriff. He's doing a great job. So then now we come to a point that why we want Whitehorn? Why the sheriff? Why? He's in Shreveport is in Caddo Parish. You got somebody that's ready to do the job. I admire you all for searching out and doing whatever, but right now, when you look at what the chief just brought, y'all in here with the chief telling us about, you hearing all of this, and we still looking for somebody in medical school versus a doctor that has an office, that got cases that can handle the business. So while we are over here talking about who needs to do it, Project Celebration, you brought that up. Councilman Butcher just told you, that ain't gonna work. One is the way in which things are done are sometimes more important than the thing itself. We, the council up here, I've not had a conversation with you all. The mayor's over there, he don't have anything in writing. So should we just wait until somebody else die and somebody else get killed? And we say, well, you know, that ain't, as long as it's not my house, then I'm cool. But what when this knock on your door is when it becomes real? That's when it comes real. I counsel people almost every day, women and men. Man, I don't want to go home because I pay all the bills, I pay this, but I can't stand the abuse that my wife is giving. Vice versa. Pastor, what do? I can't stand the abuse. I mean, I tell them to pray. I tell them to talk to Jesus. I tell them to call the police. People need some help today. While we're trying to figure it out, the sheriff has everything in order, already ready to go, but he don't want, he's the sheriff of Caddo Parish. He don't want all, why should he have to go through all of the blowback with people threatening him about, yeah, I ain't gonna vote for you no more, and you did. He need to go be working on the project instead of being threatened by people that saying, we ain't gonna vote for you. The mayor ain't gonna say, the mayor's running for office, so the mayor can't just come out and say, hey, listen, this. The mayor's trying to, he read Dale Carnegie's book on how to win friends and influence people. So, I mean, I'm the same way, but I'm gonna speak what needs to be spoken. It's time for us to give Mr. Whitehorn this program and let Mr. Whitehorn do it while we are working on something to go into the station up there with Councilwoman, she's the councilwoman on North Market, while we are waiting, then we need to be working because somebody out there right now, Mr. Roberts, is suffering. It ain't at your house, it ain't at my house right now. But if you keep getting up in the morning, sooner or later, trouble will knock on your door. Because the Bible says, man that is born of a woman is of but a few days, and those days are full of trouble. Trouble may not be at my house. It's either trouble is on the way, or trouble just left, or it's on the way back. Right now, these people are hurting. We're trying to get who gonna get the credit that we got this one, we spun. No, these people are hurting, and they need some help. And as I overheard the conversation with Councilwoman talking to the sheriff, he said, man, I want to do it, but I just can't take all this blowback. I just want to do the program. I don't want no credit. I just want to help the people. And then here we are here. You all hadn't come to us. You all hadn't got a program with the mayor, and we're waiting. That ain't right for the hurting people. If it's my child, if it's your child, it doesn't matter about the color. It doesn't matter about the politics, whether they Republican, Democrat, Independent. We need some help for our citizens right now. And that's what we are trying to do. I supported them. I heard that they were going to meetings. They couldn't meet with the chief. They couldn't do this and they couldn't do that. And all they're doing is trying to put the program where it is so that we can make a difference. And that's all. That's just to help people. And I just think that we need to do that now while you all are working on whatever you all are working on to help people. That's what I believe. And that's what I feel. The question that you got to ask yourself, Mr. Roberts, and also Madam Debbie, at this point in time with people hurting, with where we are, what would Jesus do? The Good Samaritan was on the side of the road. There are people that passed by and just looked and kept on going. But when Jesus showed up, he didn't say, well, I tell you what, we're going to do this, we're going to get this organization. He put the man on his own beast, carried him to the inn, and said to the innkeeper, when he got ready to go, he nursed him back to health. He said, if there's any charge, put it on my account. And when I come back through here, I'll take care of it. Well, to me, the man was bloody and dusty in the ditch on the side of the road. But when Jesus came by, he did his part, and then he put the other part in whoever else that could deal with it. And Mr. Roberts, I know you're a Christian. I know you know the Bible. That's what Jesus would do. Mm-hmm. Jesus would come to the rescue of the people right now, not tomorrow. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow never come. All we got is today. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Vice Chair.
If I may, I met with the sheriff this morning at my office, and we went over the plan that he has. It's a very extensive plan. It's a very good plan. And it's for Caddo Parish. Shreveport is in Caddo Parish, and it will be part of this. But he is some ways off from getting that implemented.
That's because y'all people have been calling, beating up on him. So therefore, you can only beat a dog. You can only punch me for so long.
Jim and I were told, looking at May 1, at the latest. Maybe it was, or was it April 1?
April 1.
April 1 is what Jim and I were told.
I think it's a lack of communication is what I'm looking at. I have a relationship with someone that works for the sheriff, so I kind of knew bits and pieces about the plan. My main priority is the people that needs the help. So, Mr. Roberts, listening to you, if the sheriff ran the program, could you work with the sheriff's office?
We always do. We always do.
Okay, because he does have a plan.
He does have a plan, and we've looked at it, and we've helped with that plan. But we were trying to get someone in there to help these people immediately, as all of you want on that, okay? Now, I'm sorry it sort of drags its feet. The Family Justice Center would have been a good fit for it. Family Justice Center is over 6 or 9 parishes for this thing. It happens to be housed in Bossier. But they don't have the funding to man that. So all of a sudden we have to go to Plan B.
Right.
And I think Plan B turned out to be a little bit better with all of the counseling and all that other stuff. I don't know anything about what Councilman Butcher was talking about as far as a building. I'd love to get involved with that and find out what's happening on that. But I think we're on the same page. We want to get something up and running to help people, period.
Right. So, Mr. Roberts, speaking with the sheriff this morning, you do agree that he does have a comprehensive plan?
He has a very nice plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was ready to vote for that, to be honest with you, because, again, in my district, I have a lot of women that call me that have situations that are really, really bad. Being a woman in the council, we get to hear exactly how a woman feels and when they don't know what to do with their kids, once the police leave, they have nowhere to go. So it's passionate for me as well. When you're a woman, you hear it all.
Yes,
I have men that call me that are scared of their wives. So it's a lot of situation. You have kids in danger. So something needs to happen, and I think the sheriff office is ready to move immediately.
Madam,
Please.
Councilman Booth.
just real quick, and I want, and then Ms. Martin, I'll yield to you. Just real quick, I want Chief Smith. In our initial meeting that we had, whenever we became aware of the issues, did I not say, and Councilwoman Taylor as well, that we felt like that there was plenty of room for a plan with North Shreveport to assist?
Yes, sir, you did.
And did I not say in that meeting that I wanted to meet with them, but we were trying to gather data without embarrassing folks, basically?
Yes, sir, you did.
Okay, thank you.
What I'd like to say, may I?
Okay, you can go ahead. I'll yield to you.
Thank you. Well, I was going to say, when we were advised that the Family Justice Center would not be able to come over due to funding or whatever they discussed with the chief, I immediately called a meeting with the chief, with the clerk of court, with James Stewart, and with Sheriff Whitehorn. They immediately came to the meeting, and I said, we find ourselves in this situation. We're about to open the substation. What do we do? Because I have victims everywhere, people calling us. I was on the original board of the Family Justice Center, and thank you for your comments, but I was a victim, and there's a story you can tell me that I don't know about. So there we go. And I looked at each one of them. What can you give me? Henry Whitehorn, I can give you a grant. What can you give me? James Stewart, I can give you 1, 2, or 3 people. Mike Spence, what can you give me? You can give us protective order information. You can give us the computers, everything, done deal. We walked out of there in 10 minutes and had a plan. Then a meeting is called with y'all, with the chief, and all of a sudden $125,000 gets floated around. We knew nothing about that. Zero. Zero. Please don't interrupt me. I'm not interrupting you. So that happened.
I'm sorry,
No.
because this is not
No.
your meeting. This is our meeting. I have to ask you this one question, though. In the process of doing that, I'm trying to find out who gave you the sole responsibility to do that. What we're saying to you, ma'am, is simply this. You made these decisions. The mayor has to be involved and the council has to be involved. You made a change.
I didn't make a change.
No, there was a change because
ma'am.
we have resolution. Do we need to read the resolution? Yes. That says Family Justice Center. That's what it says.
It's not a domestic violence center.
That is what it said on our resolution. Did it not, Councilman Butcher?
The
Did it
original.
not?
I'll
It going
yield to
in and
the-
read?
Well,
This is what it
you have it
said.
pulled up there, Mr. City Attorney. Read what it says. Please. Thank you. Which part? The part about the Family Justice Center.
Whereas Family Justice Centers are multidisciplinary service centers designed to provide coordinated support to survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, and other forms of interpersonal violence, offering comprehensive services under one roof. And whereas Family Justice Centers provide a holistic approach by integrating services such as legal advocacy, counseling, housing assistance, law enforcement support, and financial aid, among other resources, ensuring that survivors have access to a wide range of support to assist them in rebuilding their lives. And whereas Family Justice Centers play a critical role in promoting the safety and well-being of individuals and families, ensuring that survivors of violence can navigate the often complex systems of law enforcement, legal aid, social services, and healthcare more efficiently and with dignity. And whereas these centers reduce the trauma and burden when often faced by survivors who are forced to seek assistance from multiple agencies, improving outcomes by facilitating better coordination and communication among service providers. And whereas the City of Shreveport is committed to creating a community that values safety, support, and respect for all its residents, particularly survivors of domestic violence and abuse, and recognizes the vital role that Family Justice Centers play in this effort. And whereas the City Council acknowledges that Family Justice Centers not only empower and support survivors, but also help to break cycles of violence, promote long-term public safety, and contribute to the overall health and well-being of our community.
Where does it say
And
in
whereas-
there, though? Where does it say in there that it would house a Family Justice Center? Because there's a lot of marks that have to be marked with what he just said, but it says in there specifically that this will house a family justice center. Does it not?
This resolution says that if the city administration proposes to change the use of the property, 2.5219 acres located at or near 1500 North Market, donated by the North Shreveport Business Association, and currently designated for the construction of and use as a police substation to any other use.
Well,
So
I got all that, but there's something specifically said that this will house a family justice center. That's what it said, and this is all the things that family justice meant. And I think where everybody's kind of gone off a track here, and it really didn't need to be like this, is family justice center was not coming like we voted upon with this resolution. We had no clue that it wasn't coming. So we immediately, I go to the police chief, go straight to the horse's mouth. And that's kind of where all this started. And look, should it have been done in a public safety committee meeting? I told Councilwoman Bowman, absolutely it should have been. But there were some sensitive stuff that we needed to get through before we started throwing people under a bus, or this person can't do that, because the mayor, his idea was for a certain organization as well. And I was like, wait, do you know? And I don't think he even knew what was going on. He does now, but I don't think he knew at the time what was going on. And my goal is, let's salvage that. Let's make sure it can work, and then they can work with you. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. And I don't want to say, well, family justice didn't work because we didn't have this. Or we were just trying to figure out what was going on. And yes, probably we should have had it in a public safety committee meeting, but I tried to explain 2 weeks ago exactly where we were and where we got from point A to point B. But I'm just going to say, and the sheriff knows that I supported John Nicholson 100%, but our sheriff has stepped up and taken the ball and ran with it. And he has a plan. And I still think there's a place for y'all, and I've said that all along. I said it to the sheriff in the meeting the other day, did I not, Jim? But we've already got, it's almost like the cake's done. We're ready to take a bite of it, and we're still trying to get the ingredients together over here. So, and I know you've worked hard, and I really, really appreciate it. I know you probably think I'm blowing smoke, but I'm not. I appreciate what you've done. But you got to kind of understand where we're coming from. We were just trying to do what we thought was right, and it's been a big lack of communications, and my apologies about the Public Safety Committee meeting. It's not to have ever hid anything from anybody or anything like that, so.
We're sort of putting the cart before the horse on this. We find out the Family Justice Center can't do this, and now we're having to go to Plan B. And we've been working on Plan B. We were at a point to visit with the mayor and visit with y'all about that. But then this $125,000 came up, and that's the reason we're here today, just simply to say, I don't believe that's necessary, that it can be done without that. Now, the bigger vision that Councilwoman Taylor spoke about is a much broader, and it's what this city really needs, okay? But you got to kind of crawl before you walk. And that's what we had hoped, that this was going to be the start of that. If anything's come out of this, we've set fire under each and every one of you about a domestic violence center, and I'm happy for that. So, didn't mean to stir up anything.
No, I'm glad we had a frank conversation about it. That's what it's all about. And now you know where we started, why we're where we're at. We know where you started and where you're at. But it doesn't change my opinion that this money doesn't need to go to the sheriff. But I don't want him to have any political blowback from doing what he feels is right as the chief law enforcement agent of Caddo Parish.
Councilman Green?
Yes. Along with what Councilman Butcher said about the cake, and like what you said, we got to crawl before we walk. All we got to do is just say yes to the sheriff, and we walking. We won't be crawling. We'll be walking, because one, he has the people to do it. He has the knowledge. You've witnessed the plan, and other folk have witnessed the plan. We will be walking. We will be running. All we got to do is say yes to him. Everybody up here agrees that there is a place for you all to do whatever you all need to do, because we working together. This is our city. We're working to help and to help for everybody to be whole. But right now, all we got to do is say yes to the sheriff, and we walking, we running, it's rolling.
Councilman Jackson.
I was on the fence, and Councilman Butcher, I don't think it's going to be any political blowback, and I'll tell you why. I was on the fence because I didn't want us using taxpayer dollars for something that was already in place.
Right.
Or for
I agree.
something that another entity is saying, we're prepared to take this on. The city does not need or have to invest. Based on this candid conversation, Ms. Martin, Mr. Roberts, your organization is not there yet. You still have a long ways to go, in my opinion, which is okay. Let me finish.
It's not our organization doing that.
You're advocating for it. So to me, it's the same. You still have a long way to go. The silver lining, multiple council people have said there's room for everyone. This city needs a lot of help. So to me, that's the silver lining. That's the win-win. We're able to fund an organization, the Sheriff's Office, that's ready to go April 1, and that's something I'm going to support on tomorrow. However, I'm continuing to ask you guys to work, get everything together, because we have multiple people that are suffering right now, and we need all the help that we can get. So don't leave this meeting upset. Leave this meeting saying, hey, we got something that's going to be in place April 1st, but we still want more help, and we're going to still need your help. I thank you for coming down. Thank you for sharing, and I appreciate your words.
Well,
And
the last
thank
thing
you to
the
council
last thing
for-
the sheriff and I discussed this morning was the fact that he was excited about us having someone that could do intake and protective orders at North Shreveport and refer out to him. And this is an enhancement of what our vision was, is to have this all over the city. So the fact that y'all offered the sheriff money, yes, he's going to take it. And he went over his plan with me in great detail. We talk often. He's a huge proponent of the North Market Station and what Chief Smith will be able to do from there. So I don't need a lecture about domestic violence. Believe me, we are working day and night to get this one started and would like to see one everywhere. I've talked to the Lieutenant Governor about it. There needs to be one all over in every city and every of this state. But thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I'm glad everybody's on board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
We have executive appointments to consider tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Ms. John
I'm
Glover?
sorry.
Good evening, John Glover, 9100 Walker Road, apartment 217, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71118. To the council persons, the mayor, I was the one that stood here 2 weeks ago and asked for an in-depth, explanation of what it was and how it was that Resolution 26 would be addressed. My concern was not so much about the services that you all have discussed here today, but the dollar amount. And that was what my focus was on. It was, how is it that the council itself can establish a position and then assess a dollar amount to that position? We all will agree that we are in terrible times, perilous times, and that there are decisions that are being made that brings hurt, harm, and danger to so many people. That is not what my intent nor purpose was, to have a tit-for-tat, I guess one could say, with regards to, but to understand. Because I was trying to, and I shared this information with my councilperson, Councilman Jackson. You know, I just need to understand, if you all are going to undertake the position, we have the authority to create a position. We have the authority to assess dollars to that position. Why is not that, since we have a human resources department, why couldn't they have done this? Why could you not have given this what is it? Why couldn't you have assigned them the task to find you a domestic violence director?
We did. And that was told that the city didn't want to do it at this point, that they wanted to look at volunteer stuff. So that's why we had the meeting, the second meeting, and I think that it's just basically down to a police department. Like I told you in the last meeting, I think it's down to that the police are stretched too far and the mayor's trying to get our police officers up, and I don't think he wanted to get involved in this part.
Am I going to be able to redeem some of my time?
Absolutely. You go ahead and finish. Finish whatever you're going to say. But I wanted to tell you before you went any further, that's where this all started. If you look at the original resolution, it was to give SPD the money.
Now, see, this is the resolution that was put in my hand at the last
That's the
administrative
cooperative endeavor.
Okay,
but
so I never got
moving of
anything
the
else.
money, if you go back and look
Where
at
it says resolution?
Well, there was a resolution originally that was the money was going to SPD. We were
Okay, see,
taking
I
it
never
out of the
saw that one.
to establish a public safety fund. Is that correct? Ordinance 11.
Okay. See, I never got that one. But even with that said, my intended purpose was not to bring forth this in-depth discussion of what these persons would be addressing, but how it was that this was established. Understanding that, yes, we are in dire need of services being met by those that are victims of domestic abuse. No one would ever reject that. I just needed to understand how we came up with the dollar figure and if it was indeed within the purview, according to your city charter, that you had the power to establish a job position. That's what I had asked 2 weeks ago. It was never to go into what I have witnessed here today, because I don't think any one of us would believe that we have to defend or define that there are those who are in such situations. I just needed to understand how y'all got to do what you did. That's all I had asked for. And I hope and I pray that what we have met today here, that it's not a personal thing so much so that we take it out of the context that it is meant to be in, which is we're trying to establish that $125,000, because when I read the legislation, it only spoke.
Vice Chair. Time, Ms. Glover.
But he went in over my time.
Right, he did.
Yeah, she stopped it. I'll ask you this just real quick, Ms. Glover.
Thank you.
I think that I tried to give as much of an explanation in the last meeting about what the purpose of this was. I think where the breakdown is, and look, I appreciate you following the agendas as well as you do, because there are a lot of people, we'll vote on something and they'll call me and say, when did y'all vote on that? We can't. We are all full-time. We have full-time jobs, and it's hard for us to pick up the phone and say, Ms. Glover, this is what we're doing, because we're trying to run our jobs, So I'm never mad about asking a question, but if I answer it and you don't get the answer that you think that I.
But then I know how to come to you, Mr.
That's right.
Butcher,
That's exactly
and ask
right.
you directly what
That's
your
right.
position
And I'll
was.
always answer you.
Thank you. And I want to, again, offer my apologies if I offended anyone, because that is not my intent, never my desire to do. I do want to know that me as a citizen and all of us as citizens, we get that information that we're looking for, that there's clarity to it, and that there's no need for us to be confused when we walk away from this podium. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Glover, I have one question for you.
Sure.
Are you aware that the $125,000 is not for one position?
Well, I am as of today, because the way the legislation was written, it was written as if it were for a director.
Okay.
So I do appreciate the breakdown of what this may or may not be. I still need to understand how you all came about the $125,000, but you can do that later. Thank you. Oh, may I say one other thing? Yes. The public safety meeting that was not had, that probably could have given me better insight as to what we're dealing with today and all of the rest of us as citizens.
Well, the reason for that is we met with the sheriff on Thursday, and I had not seen his plan yet.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't want to bring that up. So I thought instead of calling a meeting, bringing staff in, having to have council members come in, we would just discuss it today.
Oh, okay.
And I think somebody texted me just a minute ago and said, let's do this in a public. Well, we're having it right now.
Okay. Okay. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Glover. Signora Thomas.
Good afternoon. I'm Signora Thomas. I'm now at 610 East Texas Street, 4th floor, Suite 12, Shreveport, 71101. I am here to say hello to all of the honorable council members. I am familiar with so many of you, as well as to our distinguished mayor and his staff, and to all who are here. I am simply here to share with you that I have recently joined 6th District Congressman Cleo Fields in the Shreveport office.
Congratulations.
So I wanted you to be familiar, be aware how to reach out, how to contact, what to do. Ms. Baker left as of Friday. Was her last day. So I will be in her stead, and any federal issues, I'd be happy to help facilitate. The number is there, but I can definitely provide it for you. But we welcome the opportunity to be of assistance.
It is so good to see you again, and congratulations.
Thank you. It's great to be
Madam Chair.
seen.
Yes.
Good to see you guys.
Signora,
Yes.
well, what about you called me the other day and said you wanted me to talk to the mayor and whoever about getting you a job with the city, so you gonna work for both of us, or what?
Honorable Councilman, I am here now.
Okay, all right. Well,
It's settled.
I just want the record to reflect that you called me to say you need a job and I needed to talk to whoever. And now before I can talk to anybody, you done went on with Congressman Fields.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
It is settled.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Congratulations.
You're in
All
a
right.
great position.
Move too slow.
All right.
In a
That's
great
right.
position, right.
That's right.
Yes.
All right. Good to see you.
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, the call I was gonna make you, don't worry about it. All
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Madam Chair, that concludes public comment.
Thank you. We will have executive appointments to consider tomorrow. There are no items under consent agenda for introduction or to be adopted. Mr. Dart, please proceed with regular agenda legislation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution 15 is one that was postponed last time that recognizes Mariah Dawn Hester.
Postpone.
Resolution 23 adopts the City of Shreveport Sporttrans updated Public Transportation Agency Safety Plan. This is something that's required by the federal agencies, and if you have any questions, De Niro is here for that. Resolution 24 authorizes a city-state agreement between the city and DOTD. This is to provide a 65% share of a project for rehabilitation of the Cross Lake Dam. This is for design, engineering, and environmental work. We will end up paying 35% of that. I think the state share is about $2.3 million. Resolution 25 is the annual insurance resolution relative to the premiums for purchase of insurance for our buildings and facilities starting April 1st. We have an amendment to that because, as quite often happens, the price goes down a little bit as our consultants finish the negotiations. I think we're down to where we're just a little over 3% increase for the over the premium paid last year, which we think is a good number. Carlene Patterson and Tyler Smith are here if you have any questions about our insurance coverage at all. Resolution 26 is a CEA between us and the sheriff's office. There's been plenty of discussion about that. I don't need to belabor that one.
You want me to talk a little bit more about it?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Resolution 27 authorizes us to reject all bids for Stoner Avenue rehab. We got one bidder, and the bidder was from out of town, and the bid was quite a bit over budget, so we're going to try again. Resolution 28 is recognizing this April is Autism Acceptance Month. Remind me, Madam Chair, what color is it I'm supposed to wear?
Blue.
That one's blue. Okay, just
You
wanted
can
to be-
meet me
that-
under
blue.
the-
I got plenty of it.
You could
Pink
meet
was a
me
little
under the
harder.
bridge April 2nd.
Okay, well, good. Resolution 29, I expect to be quite the spectacle tomorrow, recognizing the Green Oaks basketball team. Madam Chair seems to have adopted them as her personal basketball program.
Okay.
But they'll be here. And then we also, in that vein, Resolution 30 recognizes the 94th South Central Regional Conference of AKA Sorority, where about 5,000 to 6,000 women and their guests will be here this week.
That's all about Tori.
I'm quite sure Tari and her friends will be here as well.
Mr. Dark, any questions? Oh, Ms. Mayor Chance McNeely will be here tomorrow. So he will go over bills that have been filed in the legislature.
Good.
Mr. Dark, would you?
And
go ahead.
Chance is aware that he is likely to follow a number of other things.
Yes, I told him.
So he's going to be fine
I
with
told
that.
him.
Under introduction of resolutions, 31 authorizes the donation of police canine Diesel, who is being retired and the suggestion is that he be donated to his current handler. Resolution 32 authorizes an amended CEA between the city and CIRA, basically to try to recognize some of the new state legislation that would allow us to donate our interest in adjudicated property and tax liens to them.
Right. We thirsty. We did a lot of talking.
I'm sorry. Do I need to go back or do? Okay, I did think so. Okay, 33 authorizes a letter agreement with SMG to extend their management agreement at the Convention Center Municipal Auditorium for a period, I believe, of 5 years. And the only reason you're seeing that one is that it's a multi-year agreement that exceeds $1 million in aggregate. So the $335,000 a year that they get will exceed that figure. So that's why you're seeing this. Obviously, we want you to do that. We think they're doing a great job and certainly want that partnership to continue. 34 calls a special election, or actually allows an election November 3rd to renew the DDA's property tax levy.
Mr. Dark, would you proceed with introduction of ordinances not to be adopted prior to April 14, 2026?
Okay, there's only one, ordinance 32, and Mr. Edwards may have to bail me out on this one, but this one essentially allows us to convert adjudicated property to tax lien certificates pursuant to recently enacted Louisiana law, allows donations to land banking and redevelopment authorities. It's the same. It allows us to, I think, take advantages in things that passed in the Louisiana legislature last year to give us different ways to get rid of adjudicated property.
Mr. Dark, please proceed with ordinances on second reading and final passage.
Okay, 11 and, well, let's see, 11 we got rid of 12 last time. So 11 is the amendment to the Public Safety Fund. That one has an amendment because originally y'all were going to switch the money into the police budget. If you adopt the amendment, you'll be switching that money into contractual services, so we have a way to pay the sheriff.
That's the piece of legislation I was talking about, Ms. Glover.
25 and 26 are companions. 25 amends the water and sewer budget. 26 amends the capital projects fund budget. We're trying to put some money in to deal with a couple of emergencies: the big water main break, a pump replacement at North Regional early in the year, and some equipment at Amos. That money is coming from the Water and Sewer Reserve Fund. 27 is an amendment to the TIF District F budget to move money to allow the programs that Marquis Pierre and Councilman Green talked about some time ago. 28 is an amendment to the capital budget that originally started out as one to try to provide some additional funding for the drainage project Ms. Bowman is aware of on Pines Road. We got a request today and we're doing an amendment for it. Just want to explain what that is. One of the bond projects in SPAR is to replace the ceiling at Municipal Auditorium. They're actually ready to go, and we didn't fund that for the full amount for construction. What we're going to ask you to do tomorrow is to take some of the money out of the Hirsch project that isn't currently ready for construction and move it into Municipal Auditorium so that project can go ahead and go. So that's what the amendment number 1 to 28 is. 29 is an amendment that will allow the construction management at risk project management to actually be authorized in the city. The airport wants to do this for one of their major projects, and this would allow us to take advantage of state law that allows us to do that. 30 is an amendment to the legislation that established the pretrial diversion program. That program has changed a good bit since it was originally set up due to jurisdictional issues with the district attorney. This will allow us to take some of the money that has kind of been parked there for several years and let you use it if you choose to appropriate it that way for public safety. It doesn't automatically do it. It would be various budget amendments both to this fund and wherever you chose to put it, whether into the police budget, the fire budget, or the public safety fund. But this would be a mechanism for trying to free up some of this money.
Councilman, you have a question?
Mr. Dark, on the Hirsch and the municipal.
Yes, sir.
So if we take, we're decreasing the $2.5 million, putting it in the municipal?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and are we ever reimbursing or the Hirsch?
Yeah, the Hirsch is not going to be ready this year. We will be selling bonds
So
again.
we're going to
We
deal
can
with
put the
that
money back
at another
then.
moment. Okay.
So that's the reason we chose that one. That one was fully funded because we were trying to get the state to provide additional funding, and they have so far chosen not to be interested in that.
Thank
So
you.
at this point, it's better to go ahead and do a project that's ready and do it within that proposition. So that's why we have suggested that you do that.
Agree. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Dart,
Yes, ma'am.
can you give me an update on the Linwood Bridge?
I can. I've seen a lot of correspondence back and forth today between RJ and David Smith and Jarvis and whomever. What I know about it is this: because there are railroads that are under that bridge, we have to provide them plans and information. They are reviewing those. We're going to be meeting with them because we do not want to completely we don't have the money to tear the bridge down and start over. And there's a fine line between what the railroad calls maintenance, which will allow us to do what we have in mind, and full reconstruction, which would mean serious problems for the project. So we're trying to work with the railroads right now. They have just finished, I think, reviewing what we sent them about what we'd like to do, and there'll be discussions there with both Canadian Pacific, KCS, and Union Pacific, which both have tracks under there.
So do we have, or is there any additional funding that we're waiting on for this bridge as well?
Not if we get to do what we want to do, because we funded half of it, and the state legislature last year funded the other half.
Okay.
And we have a little extra raise grant money if we end up, for some reason, if the budget's a little short. But it's a difference between 6 or 7 million and way past 20 probably if we end up having to do serious reconstruction. So that's the discussion that's being held right now.
Is it a city bridge?
It is.
Okay. You answered all the Facebook questions.
We try. Thank you.
Okay. Madam Clerk, is there any other table legislation to be removed from the table today?
No, ma'am.
We have no property standards or ABO appeals to consider today. We will have an MPC appeal case number 268-C to consider tomorrow. Are there any other appeals, Madam Clerk?
No, ma'am.
Are there any reports from officers, boards, and committees? None? Okay. Madam Clerk, is there a clerk's report?
No, ma'am.
Executive session, there is none. If there is nothing else, this meeting is adjourned.